Okay, now you know how to make fresh egg spaghetti. How about we make some fresh spinach fettuccine? I'm going to start with ecco la pasta, pasta flour. This is the flour that I was telling you about that's made with the extra fancy durum. Now, it's the same as the semolina, as I was saying before. It's the same wheat, the same plant, but it's a fine grind. Now, the trick with the ecco la pasta is all you have to do is add water. Has the egg is already in there, spinach is already in there, so all we have to do is add this to the mixing bowl, entire bag, and then to this we're going to add 1/2 cup of water, be sure and measure it accurately, plus 1 tablespoon of water. Now we're back to where we were when we had the all-purpose flour in the bowl with the egg. We're just going to mix that together until we get that same flaky texture that is what you need when you're making fresh pasta. It looks like our dough is ready. Let's take a look. Look at that. Sticks together just perfectly. Now we're going to make that ball again. But now one of the things that we need to do here is we need to go back to our roller attachment. We still have the spaghetti cutter on the end there. So we're going to loosen the screw, set it to the side, and grab the roller attachment again, put it right on the hub, tighten it down, and now we're good to go. And as we had done the first time, we have to make sure that we are on number 1 on the knob, which is the widest setting on the rollers. And now I'm going to flatten the ball out like we did the first time. Again, that to about 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And now we'll turn the mixer on low and feed it in. Now you see how it's breaking up a little bit? Well, that's because we haven't made the gluten. And again, this is where the whole trick of having the rollers attached to a motor is that we're using the motor for what it's designed for. Make our life easier. Anybody can make fresh pasta in the kitchen now. Again, folding the dough in half, tucking the folded end in so you have a nice even edge. And we'll put this through 5 or 6 times until we have a nice smooth sheet of pasta. Now, there's a lot of recipes out there for spinach, and a lot of times they use fresh spinach. Fresh spinach is a very nice idea. But if you're going to use fresh spinach and add it to your all-purpose flour or even the semolina, you have to make sure it's completely pureed, because otherwise, as you start rolling it out, it'll start expelling water and make your dough too wet and too sticky. So you have to make sure it's completely pureed. We use a dry spinach in our flour, very full flavored. And there we go. Now we have spinach pasta. And again, this is where we choose what to do with it. I think we've decided to make fettuccine out of it. Now, again, we have to roll this a little thinner. So I'm going to adjust the number on my knob to number 3. Same place we did it for the spaghetti. But I always like to adjust the thickness of my dough in 2 passes at least. Because if I were to go from number 1 to number 5 or 1 to number 6 in 1 pass, it would be too hard on the dough and you might get some breakage. So I'm going to go on 3 and I'm going to adjust it to number 5 and put the dough in again. And here we have a nice thin sheet of pasta. I like my fettuccine on number 5. I like it to be a little bit thicker and a little chew to it. Now we have a beautiful sheet of thin pasta that we're going to turn into fettuccine. So again, we have to take the roller off. And I'll put the fettuccine cutter on. Fettuccine is just a wider noodle. Turn the machine on low. Feed the end of the dough right into the cutter. And ecco la pasta. Fresh spinach fettuccine. And now we'll dust this lightly with a little bit of all-purpose flour to keep it from sticking. Break it apart, and ecco la pasta, fresh spinach fettuccine.